What?
You're walking down the middle
I'm
of the
on the
street.
damn white line.
You're being instructed
No,
to
I'm
come over.
not. You can't just put your hands on me like this.
Do not do that. Do not do that.
Put your hand on me.
Put your hands over here.
What? Damn!
Now you're in the squad car.
You gonna take me to jail for that shit?
Sam taking you to jail.
Okay, so can you put your hand off me?
Maybe you could just help show him where a good place to walk is.
Not on the roadway.
I know, I'm saying maybe you
Take
could
your
just
hand off it.
suggest that he go to it at the other side and help him.
Please step back.
Maybe you could just help him know where the right place to walk is.
Ma'am, could you please step back?
Take your hand off me. Yes, I have.
Okay. You haven't.
I know my rights. Remain silent. I didn't do nothing. And you got your hand on me. Okay, I will walk somewhere else.
Okay, we've gone
It's
beyond
like a
that
sidewalk.
just a little bit.
It's closed.
We've gone beyond that.
Yo, we haven't. That's bullshit, and you know it.
Okay, why are you being this way?
Because look at the fuck you got your hand on me, folks.
Because
Y'all working on the damn sidewalk. Fuck you, man.
Dude, this
Come
isn't
back for
going.
what? I remain silent.
Settle down.
What happened? Niggas got you to
Settle
jail,
down.
bitch. Give a fuck. Bullshit, get your hand off me.
He's scared,
Yeah,
sir.
like I'm doing
Settle
something
down.
to you. You got your hand on me.
It's
Did I put my
scary.
hand on you?
Settle down.
Fuck you. Some hand off me, damn. I already took my fucking bag, and I ain't got no money to pay for
Because
it.
he's black.
Settle down.
Fuck you. Come on,
Yeah,
settle
that
down.
language you can't use in this neighborhood, okay?
Okay, well, can I keep walking
No,
Right.
in the neighborhood? Why not?
Because we're going to have a discussion about a whole bunch of stuff that's going on right now. What's going on?
Why don't you just help him?
Ma'am, that's how it
take your hand?
started. That's how it
No, I
started.
watched the whole thing. I just pulled around him and
Take
watched
your
you.
hand off
I've
me.
asked you.
You never tried to help
Hey,
him.
you got your hand on me.
Sir, I'm asking you
For what? What do you want me to do? Can I at least go sit down?
just settle down.
All right, I'm settling down. You gonna take your hand off me?
Settle down.
I will. Will you take your hand off me?
Put your hands up.
So you gonna arrest me now?
Don't know if we're going that
No,
far.
I got to
We don't
remind
need
your
to
name
do
silent, man. That's bullshit.
But he didn't do anything.
Didn't do fucking shit. My damn bag. It ain't mine.
142
Fuck.
59 and 13 here.
Can you take your fucking hand off me?
Dude, okay.
Dude,
Going
my hands
nowhere.
on.
Dude, we
He
don't.
going
Fuck
nowhere.
on, man.
He ain't
I'm
going
not
nowhere.
doing shit.
He ain't going
The
nowhere.
fuck on, man.
He ain't going
Damn.
nowhere. He ain't going
Grabbing
nowhere.
on me like that.
He ain't going nowhere.
Now,
sir.
you told me to calm down. I calmed down.
He ain't going
But I
nowhere.
grabbed my shit. My hands out of my pockets.
Hey, you're not making this illegal.
What the fuck you want to talk to me for walking on the damn sidewalk?
Okay.
Bullshit.
No, I don't. 59, 41.
Don't grab on me. Please do not touch me, dude.
Disorderly conduct.
I'm going to jail for disorderly conduct.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you that.
Ask me
Settle
again
down,
for what?
all right?
For what?
Settle down.
For what? I didn't do shit.
There's no reason he couldn't just show him where an okay place to walk
Yeah,
is.
I'm on the white side of the damn
You have
line.
not yet replied to any request.
That's bullshit. I don't have to. I remain silent, man. Fuck you. That's bullshit.
Turn around, you're under arrest.
For what?
My partner told me you're under arrest. Turn around.
No, he never said that.
Sir,
He never said that. He said he was not.
Under arrest. He's lying.
You could have just shown him where to walk really kindly. You are the one that incited this.
Heavy code 41 detained. 1 detained. 194, I'll continue. 197, 140, and 254,
Exercise your right of being quiet.
I just got here.
Fifth
Okay.
Amendment.
All right. But you put handcuffs on me when you just got here. Yes, I did. Okay, that's bullshit. I'm not acting with your partner. Your partner's grabbing me. Can I grab you? That's bullshit, man.
I don't know. I have to check about that. You want to give me your card?
Yeah. Can I get your name too?
Yes.
Take it off. You're gonna take it there, right? That's what y'all do. That's bullshit.
I don't know
You don't know that you just handcuffed me.
because you're acting.
How am I acting? For walking on the damn road?
He's scared.
Get down and grab me.
He's scared.
You want to do? I don't give a fuck.
People die in these situations. It's scary.
Check his head coat off. Can I get my glasses? Can I have my own glasses?
Going nowhere.
Can I get, yes, right here.
I'm tired of this.
Yes, thank you.
Sick of it.
Can I get my other stuff?
What's the other stuff? That stuff right there?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get this figured out first, okay?
What's going to get
Hey, it's cold out here. Can you put the jacket on him?
I don't know what's happening.
Can you put his jacket on him?
Just got here, right?
Trying to get away
I know,
from
but
you.
you're trying to help people
I know
too.
you're trying to get
Can
away
you
from
put his jacket on?
Just, why don't you step back, take care of your own business?
I'm not
You wanna
nowhere
photograph
near
this,
you
that's
guys.
all fine.
Can you
All
put
right?
his jacket on
He's
him?
going in the back of the squad
It's
car.
cold.
Why am I going to the squad car?
This is some bullshit.
I know it's bullshit.
I gotta make sure the handcuffs.
Yeah, I know. The handcuffs are so tight around me, you got to tighten them more. Fucking bullshit. Hey, Derek, bring it over here.
And if I hang on to
What's he
this,
going to jail for? Walking in the middle of the street?
he said he wasn't going.
Hey, I ain't giving you nothing.
Hey, I'm Janet.
Hey, Derek.
Hey.
What's your information?
Yes.
What you saw today?
Yep. This was all completely unnecessary.
Jen, do you have your driver's license on it?
Yep.
Adena, Minnesota. Larney B. Thomas didn't do anything wrong, per se, but that, unsurprisingly, did not prevent a typically ugly interaction with police intent to enforce one of thousands of needless laws governing daily life. Adena, Minnesota. Police felt construction blocking the sidewalk did not constitute sufficient reason for Thomas to enter the roadway, even though he hugged the right shoulder's white line. So a plainclothes officer paid with taxpayer dollars halted his forward progress to harass and then arrest the man for attempting forward progress. Janet Rolls stopped her vehicle and watched the incident unfold along Xerxes Avenue and, as has become a necessity in the American police state, whipped out her cell phone to tape the unnecessary confrontation. Lieutenant T.F. Olson, identified later, grabbed the back of Thomas' jacket and then escorted the man back toward his waiting, unmarked SUV. "Come over here," the white officer in an Oxford shirt and khakis tells the man whose elbow he grasped. "For what?" Thomas replies, understandably angry at having been accosted for essentially no reason. Rolls emphasized she began taping, not because she has a general issue with U.S. policing, but because she took issue with Olson's needless harassment of Thomas. "I'm not against the police," she said in an interview Friday, quoted by the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. "I was against what he was doing." In the now viral video, Thomas becomes increasingly irate at the pointless harassment by police, and, as many have noted, likely had luck on his side to ultimately walk away without being brutalized senselessly by either Olson or additional responding officers. As a professional mediator, Rolls pulled over to film the confrontation, during which Thomas stayed calm but became increasingly agitated, because, as the Tribune cited her saying, she was watching something that I didn't think was very fair. "You can't just put your hands on me like that," Thomas implores the officer as he's escorted to the waiting stealth SUV. Olson explains the man had, however, made the altogether egregious error of walking down the middle of the street. Incensed at having been hijacked for stepping outside the state's arbitrary lines in the road, Thomas slams his backpack to the ground and asks the surprisingly calm officer if he'll be taken to jail. "You're gonna take me to jail for that shit?" Thomas demands. Rolls, filming close by, and as a mediator familiar with difficult situations, tells Olson, maybe you could just tell him where a good place to walk is. As the confrontation continues, Thomas' fury intensifies, and, although he struggles from Olson's firm grip several times, neither the white officer nor the justifiably enraged black man become violent. I don't fault him for being agitated, Rolls later explained. I'm a mediator, and I see people all the time be upset in ways that aren't very pretty. We're human. It's the job of the police to deal with it in a good manner, not the one who is being falsely accused. Clearly, the police in this incident needlessly apprehended Thomas as he tried to avoid a blocked pathway, and was not, as Olson implied, walking down the middle of the road. Maybe you could just suggest he go to the other side and help him, Rolls tells Olson in an apparently fruitless attempt to mitigate the situation. Maybe you could just help him know where the right place to walk is. Ma'am. Could you please step back, the officer tells her, ignoring her sensible suggestion. While Rolls' intentions as a mediator naturally included the instinct to alleviate escalation, it would normally be inadvisable to interact with either party when filming a police encounter. Olson continues his somewhat demeaning grip on Thomas' jacket, refusing to be reasonable about the altogether marginal infraction. I know my rights, Thomas implores. I didn't do nothing. You got your hand on me. As the man explains to the officer he had to tread into the roadway due to the construction blocking his path, Olson says, we've gone beyond that. No, we haven't, Thomas exclaims. That's bullshit and you know it. Why are you being this way? The authoritarian officer, ignorant of the inanity of his harassment, rhetorically asks the man. Because. Look. The fuck you got your hands on me for? This exchange continues for several minutes as the level-headed cop repeatedly tells the justifiably outraged man why stepping outside the arbitrary lines constitutes a grievous error, until, eventually, a backup officer is summoned to the scene. Thomas, at one point, tires of Olson's disrespectful grasp on his jacket, and wriggles free of both it and his shirt. Eventually, Olson arrests Thomas, cuffing him shirtless in the frigid Minnesota air. Several times, Rolls asks the officers to give the obviously freezing Thomas his jacket, but they refuse, saying he'll soon be in the back of a patrol car. Rolls' video of the absurd confrontation, which occurred on Wednesday, has been viewed nearly 100,000 times, forcing the Adena Police Department to issue a statement, saying, recognizing the risk to the safety of the public, the officer pulled in behind the man with his lights and an audible signal in an attempt to advise him to get out of the roadway. The man, who was wearing headphones, turned and looked at the officer and continued walking in the lane of traffic. This, of course, ignores that Thomas posed no legitimate threat to the public, since vehicles passing by would clearly see him and be able to move slightly to the left to give him safe passage. Continues the statement. The officer smelled alcohol on the man's breath during the incident. A breathalyzer later confirmed the presence of alcohol, as if imbibing and walking were somehow a crime. Rolls explained later she felt her occupation demanded she advocate for Thomas during his ridiculous encounter with the cops, and that, had she not been filming their actions, the situation could have worsened in potentially dangerous ways. Thomas was cited for disorderly conduct and pedestrian failure to obey a traffic signal, and was later released. I worry about these relationships that the police are destroying, she said, according to the Tribune. It calls for extra patience. Tragically, police patience with the public seems, with this and few other exceptions, to be a thing of the past. Read more at http://thefreethought.com/walking-sidewalk-police-abuse/#GLPCU706avigiko.99